What if he was a perfect Anbu? Someone like Shisui, or perhaps even better. Now, this certainly wouldn't be easy to do, well, at least realistically that is. I don't want to give him any crazy power up, I want this to actually make sense. So, whilst the Knight of the Nine Tails goes exactly the same, the point of divergence is, at a very young age, Naruto is slowly taken over, his mind that is, by Danzo. Someone who obviously wants a lot of power, and now after seeing Hiruzen back on the throne of Hokage, he wants to do something about that. Slowly gathering his power, building up his Anbu, he thinks of no one better than the host of the Nine Tails. If he can sway Naruto to his side, and perhaps even have him work for him, that would be great. Perfect even. But Naruto is still far from actual fighting age, especially being able to perform Anbu duties. They're not for the faint of heart. And so Danzo meets Naruto a couple times. They have some conversations, and Naruto grows quite close to Danzo. He doesn't really have anyone else to talk to except for Hiruzen. And of course, Hiruzen doesn't know anything about their secret meetings. Danzo specifically tells Naruto not to tell anyone about those, which he thinks is a bit weird, but it kind of makes sense, right? They are political figures, of course, they can't just randomly blurt out anything to a child. So he accepts it for now. Mind you, Naruto is about 5 years old now, so the bullying is certainly there and it's not great. But Danzo promises that, with his influence and power, he can certainly put a stop to it. But you didn't really think Danzo was that nice, right? No, of course not. In fact, when Naruto was starting to think if it's even necessary to be under his protection, Danzo ordered an Anbu to pretend to be a civilian and throw glass bottles and try to harass Naruto. 2 days later, the next time they spoke, Naruto agreed to be under Danzo's protection. And of course, after that, he wasn't hurt anymore, because a lot of those attacks were by Anbu. Now, mind you, Naruto isn't Anbu yet. Of course not, he is 5. But he is slowly being swayed over. He's being taught all about the Anbu, a lot of it by Danzo himself. And at least in Naruto's mind, Danzo is even starting to become a fatherly figure for him. Yeah, didn't expect that one, did you? Me neither. But after a while, learning how the Anbu always save the village and help everyone even when they don't get the credit for it, Naruto wants to become just like them. He doesn't want to get hurt, treated badly anymore. He wants to help people even if necessarily he doesn't get all the credit for it. If at least he's treated badly, he doesn't necessarily need to be treated well for it. And so he confronts Danzo about it. And he's of course delighted, but can't really state that. He doesn't want to show that he wants exactly this to happen. So he tells Naruto, well, you need to train for quite a while to become this skilled. And Anbu has to be successful in basically all of their missions. And you're a bit too young to become an Anbu, don't you think? Usually Anbu have to be Chunin or stronger. So I think first you have to, become a shinobi. Now, Danzo isn't saying this because he actually wants Naruto to become a shinobi. He's saying this to pretend like he's not the man he is. But at around the same time, he introduces Naruto to someone else, Sai and his brother. They get along quite well, and of course Sai and his brother are told to behave and not tell Naruto anything that would want him to become something else. And so those two are the first people at his own age that Naruto actually becomes friends with. A year passes, and Naruto has started to become a lot smarter than he would be in canon. He started reading books, wanting to find out the history and the abilities of an Anbu, and what he has to become and establish in his later life. Along with this, Naruto wants to become fit. It's pretty early for that, but he tries his best. He does occasional runs and gets his cardio up. Stops only eating ramen and spoiled milk, which certainly does help him, but doesn't make him some crazy warrior. Again, I want to make this at least somewhat realistically. But with Naruto's knowledge about chakra, he slowly thinks about how he can start to manipulate it. Of course, this doesn't involve any crazy jutsu, but it would mean that slowly Naruto is able to control his chakra. Maybe make a regular clone, not a shadow clone by the way. Or perhaps start tree walking, which is an ability very important for an Anbu as they have to go quickly, especially in forests, as the hidden leaf finds itself in. And so, although fruitless for now, Naruto did start to, at least try, to concentrate his chakra. Sai and his brother were much better at this, but Naruto's efforts weren't wasted. At least he got a basic understanding and feeling of how to use his chakra. Now, Danzo helped him after hearing what Naruto was trying to do by changing up the way the ceiling works a bit, similar to how Jiraiya did in the canon story. And that actually allowed Naruto to not be so hostile to the Nine-Tails, or otherwise, the Nine-Tails being so hostile to Naruto, and that allowed him to use a bit of his chakra at least. Of course, none of the Nine-Tails, and not all of his own either, but some, at least some that allowed him to use his chakra at all, in any capacity. Now, as Naruto's upbringing has been quite different these past 2 years of his life, Naruto isn't or hasn't become, so far at least, a prankster, and doesn't do these crazy things that people hate him for. Now, certainly he isn't loved at all by the villagers, but it's not quite as bad as in canon, and people don't see him as this weird kid only begging for attention, always getting in trouble and trying to desecrate the Hokage's faces. And weirdly enough, a lot of the villagers actually haven't seen Naruto at all for quite a while. He seems to be gone for most of the day. Now, of course, we know that he is at Danzo's lair in the Anbu headquarters, practicing, discussing with his two friends, whatever they're doing. And it's at this point that Naruto meets two very special people, Itachi and Shisui. He was introduced to them by Danzo as people he should become like, basically models that he should try to envision. Naruto immediately grew close, and Shisui and Itachi actually didn't mind him. Itachi obviously knew that Naruto was a few days younger than his brother, and so he had an immediate tie to him. And as I already said, Naruto isn't some brat, he's actually a normal kid, even quite well mannered, pretty smart. And so since he asked so many times and so nicely, Shisui actually helped Naruto with his chakra control, as Itachi just watched from the side, though would give some instructional tips as well. And just like that, after a few days, Naruto was able to tree walk. Not perfect, of course, but it was something, and he was only 6 here, so pretty damn impressive. Now remember, Itachi is about 5 and a bit years older than Naruto, meaning that, well, in canon, at 11 he joined the Anbu, and he kind of does in the story here as well. Now you could fast forward his joining the Anbu by a few months, but it really doesn't matter. He was skilled, and now he's in the Anbu, that's all that matters. So just again for context, Naruto and Sai are both 6, Itachi is about 11 and a bit, and Shisui is probably around 14. There's not that much information about how old he really is, but he should be around 14 here. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. And that's a pretty interesting age dynamic. That means Itachi is pretty much an older brother, kind of like he is to Sasuke, whilst Shisui is also an older brother, but more of a mentor and teacher to Naruto. But honestly, that's for the better if you know how OP Shisui is. It's actually kind of crazy. But of course, Naruto doesn't have a Sharingan, so how do they teach him? Well, chakra control for one. Naruto is 6 here, and I kid you not, look it up. In canon, Itachi finished the academy by 7, the age of 7. So yeah, they're gonna help Naruto get stronger a lot faster than he would normally. Fast forward another half year or so, Naruto is almost unrecognizable in what he is compared to what he wants to be. A shinobi, an Anbu, perhaps. Naruto has practically mastered water walking, tree walking. He's able to make basic clones and redirect chakra to any point in his body that allows him to throw a harder kick or punch. Now, it's nothing crazy like Tsunade, and he basically, well, of course, isn't able to heal, but it does help him fight if he ever needs to. Of course, right now, he has no need. He's still only a child. But Naruto getting closer and closer to Itachi and Shisui wants him to become an Anbu even more. He sees how cool they are, at least in his eyes, and if he becomes an Anbu, he gets to spend even more time with them. So it's a win-win. And of course he does well for the village. Danzo absolutely loves what's going on right now. He's becoming good friends with other Anbu, he wants to become an Anbu, and he's getting pretty damn strong. Now, since it's unspecified when exactly, as in what day Itachi joined the Anbu, I'm gonna make a speculation. Since it just states when he was 11, I'm gonna interpret a bit and say that it was shortly before he turned 12, as when he turned 12 he became an Anbu captain, and I'm gonna say that didn't take too long. So in this headcanon, Itachi became an Anbu, let's say 3 months before he turned 12. And in this headcanon as well, for Naruto's birthday, 8th birthday, not 7th, 8th birthday, he gets to join the Anbu. Now, I know it's really early. I mean, an 8-year-old is... It's crazy to even be a genin at this point. But Itachi was a genin at 7, and Naruto is basically getting taught by Danzo, Itachi, and Shisui here. And he has a lot more control, or rather Kurama isn't trying to, well, screw him over. He has a lot more control over the Nine-Tails Beast, or at least it's not bothering him as much, so he can actually concentrate on his chakra and improve on his abilities. Combined with the fact that he's not a moron and actually reads some books, well, okay, I'm not gonna call it painting. It is pretty much impossible that he would be an Anbu at age 7, or 8, or whatever. But hey, it's fanfiction, so why not? In this story, Naruto, on his 8th birthday, after waking up in the morning, he appears in the, well, Anbu hideout like he usually would, and there he's greeted by Itachi, Shisui, Sai, his brother, and Danzo, who all, weirdly enough, congratulate him on his birthday. Now, why weird? Because I would never in my life have thought that Danzo would congratulate anyone on anything, but here we are. He's a bit manipulative, if you can't tell. And so, as Danzo's present to him, Naruto gets to join the Anbu. Now, even Itachi and Shisui are a bit shocked. Like, sure, Naruto's strong, smart, whatever, but he's 8. An 8-year-old is joining the Anbu. But then Itachi chuckles. That's kind of a similar thing that people thought about Itachi when he joined. Sure, he was a bit older, but still, he was 11. People were pretty shocked at that too. So why not? As long as Naruto doesn't get in the way, well, he can join. But Danzo will make it clear that for now, obviously Naruto wouldn't do any crazy missions. He would basically just look at the actual Anbu do their mission, and slowly but surely get more and more involved and actually start doing Anbu work. But he does get the title of Anbu. So Naruto now eagerly trains and studies every day and dreams of himself becoming Anbu and ranking up, becoming a captain perhaps. Now, becoming a captain is probably a lot easier than becoming as strong as Shisui or Itachi, but hey, who cares? Naruto is still a child, and Itachi and Shisui are his idols, so he wants to do everything in his power to become like them. Now, skipping over a bit more to when Naruto is about 8 years old. Now, he's been observing and even slowly starting to participate in the Anbu. He's been on quite a few missions, a lot of which had Shisui or Itachi with them, meaning Naruto was always hoping to impress. Now, there's one black sheep in here, if you want. The elephant in the room, if you will. And that's the Uchiha massacre. Now, would it happen? Hard to say, but what I'm going to say at the very minimum is not at the time that it did in canon. Danzo would be way too occupied with what he was doing with Naruto to care about the Uchiha and try to egg them on into, well, trying a revolution, as he stated. And whilst there were serious tensions, even without Danzo, he definitely egged it on more than it should have been. And so, without him interfering at least that much, and Shisui and Itachi having a real friend in the Anbu, that lowered the stakes to a point where it wasn't that urgent, and things didn't escalate as much. In fact, some Uchiha were actually seeing quite a few benefits now. They thought that, well, perhaps things are getting better. Even some people of Konoha didn't really see the Uchiha and as much, or rather anymore, as these brutes that always want war. It was slowly getting better, though definitely not lovey-dovey. Basically, the situation wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as it can. So for now, that buys Naruto at least 1 or 2 years, hopefully more. And that leads us to another thing, Shisui, or rather his eyes. What would happen? Of course, Danzo wanted his eyes, but he can't do this here. Again, it's because of Naruto's bond with Shisui. Naruto would never continue on the path he is right now, at least not unscathed, if Shisui died or his eyes were taken from him, especially if he found out that Danzo was the reason. Not only would Danzo put a huge target on his back, especially with, well, the situation being quite different from Kenna, but his protege that he was trying to gain power with in the village, he would hate him. That's not a good look. So for now, everything would be somewhat chill. Naruto keeps getting stronger, getting smarter, and, well, trying to be like his idols. Itachi is a bit more emotional than he was in canon. I mean, his life isn't only filled with sadness and anger. There's also friendship, love. And since Shisui, well, is dead, that hasn't disappeared from him. In fact, it's only more since Naruto is there. Now, I have been kind of ignoring Sai for a lot of the story, and that's because he's not going to be that important. He was meant to be Naruto's, like, buddy. That was what Danzo wanted, but that didn't really end up. Naruto just had much more of a draw to Itachi and Shisui, so that's what happened. But now, Naruto would go to the academy. It was the time. Naruto didn't want to go to the academy early, but, well, this was the path. The only reason he would go to the academy early was to become an Anbu early, but he is an Anbu. Now, it's not on the records, like the Hokage obviously doesn't know, but the people that need to know do. And Naruto does get paid a bit for his missions already, so for him, there's no difference. The only difference is the weird looks that he gets from the other Anbu members that have no idea who he is and why there is a literal child on them with their mission. And so Naruto, at the age of 8, already an Anbu, goes to the academy. He sees Sasuke, and together they kind of know each other, and then they go on their way. But that's where I'm going to leave off the episode. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!